For the last 2 years, artificial intelligence has been sold as the ultimate productivity weapon for software development. Write code faster, build products quicker, ship features in days instead of months. Microsoft stood at the center of that revolution. With Copilot embedded into developer workflows, the company promised a future where coding would become faster, easier, and dramatically more efficient. And it worked. Output surged, product cycles compressed. AI began writing a growing share of the world's software. But beneath that surge, something darker began to form. Systems started breaking in strange ways. Bugs appeared months after deployment. Infrastructure failures became harder to trace. Engineers found themselves staring at code no one fully understood, not even the AI that wrote it. Then, on February 6, 2026, a leaked internal memo confirmed what many developers had quietly feared. Microsoft had a quality crisis, and in response, CEO Satya Nadella made a rare and dramatic move. He appointed a quality czar, not a product lead, not a growth strategist, not an AI evangelist, but a veteran operator known for brutal discipline and zero tolerance for failure. This wasn't a normal leadership change. It was a signal that something inside the world's most powerful software company had gone seriously wrong. The memo itself was brief, precise, and unsettling. Satya Nadella announced the creation of a new internal program called the Quality Excellence Initiative, or QEI. Its mission to stabilize Microsoft's entire software ecosystem, from Windows and Azure to enterprise tools and internal systems. To lead it, Nadella appointed Charlie Bell, Microsoft's former security chief, a man known not for innovation but for discipline. Bell had previously rebuilt Microsoft's security culture after years of vulnerabilities and breaches. Now, he was stepping into a far larger role, overseeing engineering quality across the entire company. Internally, employees quickly gave him a nickname, the Quality Czar. But the most alarming part of the memo wasn't the appointment, it was the data behind it. According to internal metrics, nearly 30% of Microsoft's production code is now written by AI. At first, this sounded like success, faster development, lower costs, greater output, but the internal assessment used a very different word to describe the results. Brittle, code that works until it doesn't. Systems that function until small changes cause massive failures. Infrastructure that looks stable until invisible weaknesses collapse entire services. Engineers described growing difficulty debugging AI-generated code. Logic chains were unclear. Dependencies stacked unpredictably. Minor edits produced major side effects. Over time, the codebase became harder to reason about, harder to test, and harder to trust. This wasn't a theoretical concern. Recent Azure outages, Windows stability problems, and cloud service disruptions had already begun to surface publicly. Each incident alone looked manageable. Together, they formed a pattern. Microsoft wasn't losing control of innovation. It was losing control of understanding. And in software, when understanding disappears, reliability follows. This forced a painful realization inside the company. Speed had outpaced comprehension. AI had allowed developers to build faster than they could verify, review, or truly understand. The result wasn't better software, it was fragile complexity. And that complexity was quietly spreading through the backbone of global computing. At first, AI coding tools felt like magic. Developers typed a short prompt, and entire blocks of functional code appeared instantly. What once took hours now took minutes. Productivity exploded. Deadlines shrank. Features shipped faster than ever. But speed created a dangerous loop. Developers began relying on AI not just to assist, but to think. Instead of carefully designing logic, they started prompting. Instead of deeply understanding each function, they reviewed outputs. Instead of writing code line by line, they skimmed and approved. And slowly, a gap opened, a review gap. The human mind simply cannot verify machine-generated complexity at machine speed. When AI produces hundreds of lines of code in seconds, careful reasoning becomes impossible under real-world deadlines. So, developers do what humans naturally do under pressure. They trust, they skim, they approve. At first, nothing seems wrong. The software runs, tests pass, features ship. Everything looks stable. But beneath the surface, something fragile begins forming, what engineers now call zombie code. Zombie code works, but no one truly understands it. It moves through production systems silently, waiting. It may not fail today, tomorrow, or even next month. But when it finally breaks, the damage is unpredictable, and tracing the cause becomes painfully slow. The problem compounds with every iteration. AI writes code. Humans lightly review it. That code then becomes training material material for future AI outputs. The system starts learning from its own shortcuts, amplifying complexity, abstraction, and fragility. This is the AI loop speed generating complexity, complexity generating blind trust, and blind trust generating systemic risk. And when failures happen, they rarely appear dramatic at first. A cloud service slows down, a back-end process stalls, a minor update crashes a subsystem. Each event looks isolated. But inside Microsoft, engineers began to see a disturbing pattern. Incidents were becoming harder to diagnose, harder to fix, and harder to prevent. The architecture was no longer transparent. It was becoming opaque. This is when leadership realized something uncomfortable. The company had optimized too aggressively for velocity. In chasing speed, it had sacrificed resilience. In chasing output, it had lost reliability. And for a company that runs the digital backbone of governments, corporations, and global infrastructure, this wasn't just a technical issue. It was an existential one. Because when software becomes fragile, the systems that depend on it become fragile too. And that forced Microsoft to make a rare strategic pivot away from growth at all costs and toward durability at any cost. When Microsoft realized the scale of the problem, the response wasn't incremental. It was structural. The company launched the Quality Excellence Initiative, a sweeping internal program designed to slow development where necessary, rebuild engineering discipline, and restore trust in its software foundations. This wasn't about adding more testing. It was about changing the culture of how software is built in the age of AI. At the center of that shift stands Charlie Bell. Bell isn't known for charisma or visionary thinking. He's known for operational discipline. Inside Microsoft, he earned his reputation by rebuilding the company's security infrastructure after years of vulnerabilities and breaches. His approach was simple: no shortcuts, no excuses, no ambiguity. Systems had to be understandable, traceable, and resilient, even if that meant slowing everything down. Now, he's applying that same mindset to software engineering itself. Under QEI, the priority shifts from speed to durability. Instead of celebrating how fast features ship, teams are now judged by how stable and maintainable their systems remain over time. Code is no longer evaluated only on whether it works, but on whether it can be understood, debugged, and safely modified months or even years later. One of the biggest changes is expected to be human-in-the-loop certification. In simple terms, AI-generated code may no longer be allowed into production unless a human engineer can fully explain, justify, and verify its logic. That means slower releases, heavier review processes, and stricter documentation standards. It means fewer blind approvals and far more accountability. This fundamentally alters how developers work with AI. Instead of delegating thinking to machines, they must use AI as a tool, not a replacement for reasoning. AI can assist, but humans remain responsible for architectural decisions, logic chains, and system behavior. Key goal isn't to stop using AI, it's to restore understanding. Because once engineers lose clarity over how systems function, complexity begins to compound silently. And when that happens, reliability collapses from the inside. This is a painful shift. Teams accustomed to rapid output now face new friction. Product cycles slow, deadlines stretch. But Microsoft is betting that short-term discomfort is worth long-term stability. And that bet comes with a price. The announcement of the Quality Excellence Initiative sent ripples through the market immediately. Microsoft stock wobbled as investors realized that fixing the software foundation would come at a cost. Slower feature releases, longer product cycles, and potentially giving rivals like OpenAI, Google, or Amazon a chance to catch up. The irony is striking. The same company that sold the world on AI coding through Copilot, promising speed, efficiency, and automated productivity, is now forced to confront the unintended consequences of that promise. Developers across the globe are watching closely. Teams using AI-assisted coding tools are quietly reassessing workflows. Enterprises, depending on Microsoft's cloud services, are asking hard questions about stability and resilience. And inside the company, engineers who once cheered AI-driven acceleration are now navigating a new world where speed is no longer king and understanding is everything. Microsoft's move signals a critical lesson for everyone in software development. AI is powerful, but unchecked reliance can create fragile systems. Productivity gains are tempting, but without discipline, they become a ticking time bomb. The AI sugar rush is over. The hype, the speed, the excitement of effortless code, all of it collides with reality. Fragile systems, invisible bugs, and zombie code have forced a company-wide reset. Microsoft is now emphasizing durability over growth, understanding over speed, and human oversight over blind trust. What comes next will determine not only the future of Microsoft, but the future of AI-assisted software development as a whole. The broader lesson is clear. Tools don't fail on their own. People fail when they trust tools without comprehension. AI can accelerate progress, but it cannot replace responsibility. If you're a developer, a team lead, or just someone relying on AI for work, ask yourself, are you trusting AI too much? Are you still reading, verifying, and understanding what it produces? The cleanup is coming, and Microsoft just reminded the world. Speed is exhilarating, but stability is priceless.